Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Bob Pompeani, and boy, we have a lot to talk about tonight. So let's waste no time and introduce your panel to you. We have Jason Mackey from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, who is here. To his left, it's Will Graves from the Associated Press. And to his left, it's Colin Dunlap, host of the Fan Morning Show. Obviously, the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Steelers. Interesting tweet here, Colin. Trey Essex put out, different quarterback, more swag, more confidence, same OCs, same results. Sounds pretty accurate to me.
Yeah, what's he trying to say? I don't get it.
He's trying to say maybe there needs to be a change at OC.
Yeah, well, that's obvious. I don't understand how Matt Canada was ever hired. Matt Canada was the guy who was behind the guy who failed, and he simply got elevated without what seemingly was a wide net that was cast. That's the part I don't get, how he even fell into this job. That's the first thing. The second thing, it felt like they got a little bit of traction going today, and then he decided he wanted to tinker around with the run game, which blew me away. Matt Canada was never going to be the guy. He obviously isn't the guy, and moving forward, he won't be the guy. So I don't know what the Steelers ever saw in him or what they do see in him.
Well, I mean,
I'm there.
I'm trying to figure out how it was Mitch's fault, and then it was Matt's fault, and then it was Mitch's fault again, and now it's Matt's fault again. I mean, I think it's a combination of things. They're also not very talented. Right, I mean, that's the other thing, right? The group is not as good as it thinks it is.
Or we thought they were.
I mean, 5 weeks in, the receivers have 0 touchdowns. Gabe Davis had more touchdowns in the first 20 minutes, 2 more, than the Steelers receivers have through 5 games now. So I'm not going to say it's all Matt Canada. You got to get close to the end zone to get into the end zone, and they're not getting into the end zone.
Here's something I was thinking about, guys. I don't know what you think about it. Isn't now the time to pull the ripcord with Canada? You have Pickett starting, you're wasting your time basically having one work with the other. You want the young guy to learn a system. You're going to learn Canada's system, and then what? After the season, you pull the Band-Aid off, and then he's gone? I don't understand that. Just do it now. It's not working.
What would be I mean, Mike Sullivan has an offensive coordinator experience, but what would be the point? Does this look like a playoff team? What are we talking about here? I mean, is this if God himself becomes the offensive coordinator and Jesus is the quarterback's coach, are they going to win the division?
Can we cut to the chase and just be real frank here that he never should have been hired, and it falls to Mike Tomlin on why he was hired. It feels like a unilateral hire for a guy that did his buddy a favor, and it made no sense. Again, this happened with the offensive line situation. Mike Tomlin installed somebody who was the assistant to somebody who failed. Wait a minute, though. He installed somebody who was the assistant to somebody who failed. That guy was out the door to Oregon. Mike Tomlin installed somebody here that was the assistant to somebody who failed, and we all thought we'd get good results. From day one, Matt Canada was the wrong guy. His resume stinks.
We're forgetting about one thing here. Who was the quarterback? Who was the quarterback? Do you think that they just said, hey, Ben, Matt Canada, who by the way, they hired to sort of be around Ben. I know that he was more with the younger guys. They did. I mean, Ben was a part of that decision.
If you want to do somersaults to defend Matt Canada, go ahead.
You're talking about the hiring. You're talking about the hiring.
I'm talking about it's on Mike Tomlin.
Well, I would disagree with Ben is on that decision. I don't know if Ben was on that decision. I'd have to be convinced that he was, because I think
you got an 18-year veteran quarterback and a guy you're bringing from outside, and this guy in the quarterbacks last year. They weren't going to do it. It didn't matter who the QB coach was. That was going to be the guy they were going to promote. The fact that he was next door
also doesn't matter. I mean, he's here. He's here now. What's your plan forward? And it doesn't seem like there's much of a plan forward.
So, Jason, I want to ask you, that was the next question. That is, Mike Tomlin, after the game, said very specifically that he's not ruling out any player personnel decisions or, for that matter, any coaching decisions. Now, are those just words, or do you think he will act upon that? And if so, especially players, what players do you have to choose?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you can go at this point. I mean, they've looked under pretty much every rock they have, right? I would go the Canada route. Again, like we're talking about here, I don't think that I don't know how we've gotten to this point in general. I mean, the running game stinks. The wide receivers are non-productive. You've changed quarterbacks. You're really not affecting much change. What else is there? A different scheme, a different system. I mean, that's the route I would go. Now, certainly the evidence that leads us to believe, I don't have much faith that he's going to go that route, but that's what I would do personally. I don't know about you guys.
Mike Tomlin, to me, coaches like a guy who knows he'll never be on the hot seat because his boss won't put him there. And that's problematic. He lives in his fears. Today he tried 2 field goals. All personnel decisions go through the head coach. It is beyond ridiculous ridiculous that he had Pierre out there returning a kickoff whenever they tell us all this offensive firepower they have, and they have a guy who doesn't know what to do with a football when it's coming down at him, a defensive back. That's ridiculous on the head coach. The Canada
field goal. Also ridiculous.
No, that's what. If Boswell makes two of his field goals, it's 38-9 today.
Yeah, it's just
he tried a field goal to cut it to 25. Mike Tomlin is not absolved here. He coaches like a guy who knows he'll never get fired and he'll never even be on the hot seat.
The 30,000-foot view here from where I look at it is, this is how the league works, guys. The league is supposed to be you're good, you're bad, you're good.
You want to defend him?
Good
Go
for
ahead.
a long time.
When
you guys have lived in Pittsburgh way too long. This is literally how the rest of the league works.
You know what? We do live in Pittsburgh. We don't live in Jacksonville. And you know what? You tell me all about Mike Tomlin's playoff success. He got his doors blown off the last 2 times he played in a playoff game, wasn't even in the game, got killed on his home field by a team that didn't even have their head coach here in Cleveland. Jacksonville kicked his backside. Jacksonville kicked his backside after he talked about them all week. You want to talk about playoff regular season success? Feel free, Will. People in this town are tired of it.
People in this town are spoiled.
Okay.
They're spoiled.
Okay.
The way the salary cap is, you're not going to be good every year. They have failed in their depth. That is where the problem is defensively. I saw Hokie today talking about there was when we talked about here where Cook was running to the end zone. Who was this guy chasing him? I was like, well, there's Jameer Jones, and here's Josh Jackson.
The
guy who got here 10 minutes ago.
Running back who can't get back to the line of scrimmage.
They have failed with some personnel decisions. They failed. Their depth has really been exposed. But the guy can coach. In fact, they're 1-4. This is the last time they were 1-4 was 2013. And by the way, and they got to 8-8 that year. By the way, maybe his best coaching job.
He drafted a running back that can't get to the line of scrimmage.
We're getting all these topics. I want to get to them in a minute. You're going all over the place on me. So, real quick on this one. I want to get back to the field goals. Why? That doesn't make sense. It never did to me since you guys brought it up. Field goals. You're down 24-3. You're down 31-3. It makes no difference. Chris told me, well, it gives you a little momentum. Really? Does it? And then you miss them. So what does that do to you? Why field goals, Jason? Why do you think coaches do that?
I have zero. Maybe to get something positive. That's the only thing that I can think of. To me, that's like in baseball, if you're down 9-0, you're not going to play for a run. You're going to play for a big inning. Right? Like, do you feel better if it's 9-1? You're still getting smashed, as Mike Tomlin said. I don't understand that decision at all, and I don't have a reasonable explanation.
I think you got a quarterback making his first start. He's being productive.
First round.
And by the way, they got, and he did mention, he was asked about the second one. They got the penalty, so it was 4th and 15.
So what?
Why not? Maybe he had the over. I don't know.
I can't sit here and make excuses for the guy. People are fed up. People are tired. People don't want to hear about never had a losing season. Like, we're past it. We're past it. What else is there to say, Bob?
We got to go to a break. We have a lot more to say, Colin. We're going to talk about the running backs, since you mentioned him, Najee Harris. Has he been overdrafted? Do you think he's really worth a #1 pick? We're going to talk about it because the numbers don't seem to think that. And the defense. It was supposed to be dominant. Some said elite. It's been anything but. We'll get into that and more as we continue right here. It's the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.
#1 Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by #1 Cochran. Go one better.